Hello, family, my beautiful people. Today, today was an interesting day. Um, I was outside trying to do stuff, get stuff done, but my mind was just all over the place. I couldn't really focus on what I needed to focus on. I mean, I did, eventually, but my mind was just scattering all over the place. And you're gonna have days like that. You're gonna have days where your mind is just all over the place. You know what I mean? It's just you can't really focus on one thing. You're focusing on a million different other things at once while having the main cloud. You know what I mean? It's like having the cloud over your head while having a bunch of thunderstorms and rain simultaneously happening at once, like an actual rainstorm, thunderstorm. But it wasn't a bad thing. Yeah, it wasn't a bad thing. I don't look at, overthinking as a bad thing, but it can be, because it clouds your vision, and you don't want your vision to be cloudy. You want to have 2020 vision. You want to have a crystal clear vision on what you want, so you can know what you got to do to get there. You know what I mean? But like I always tell people, man, you're gonna have days where it's not like that. Not every day is gonna be peaches and cream and sunshine. You're gonna have some days where you're just like literally in a funk, and you're just like you don't know what the fuck is what, and you're just like lost, and you're just literally waiting for the day to go by so you can just go to sleep. Like you're literally waiting to get tired so you can go to sleep and restart. Like those are days that are gonna happen. Those are non-negotiable days. Like you're gonna have those days. You're just like, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying this is one of those days, but I'm saying, it's gonna happen, and you have to sometimes let those days happen. I'm not saying don't do shit for the whole day, and I'm not saying be okay with, you know, being in a funk, but sometimes you have to get that clarity of like, okay, I don't want the entire day or the entire week to go like this day, you know what I mean? Or sometimes you have to sit in those feelings of you feeling down or low to know, you don't want to feel like that. So you get out of that funk, you know what I mean? Some people, they'll be fully aware of these feelings, and they'll be fully aware that like, oh man, today was a bad day, or today was, whatever, and I'm not focused, like my mind is scattered. Some people will point these things out and be fully aware that they're not on their P's and Q's, and they'll continue to stay on that low vibrational path for not just the day, but the whole week. And then that whole week turns into 3 weeks, and then those 3 weeks turn into the whole month, and then it's month after month, year after year of you. Damn, she got a wagon. I ain't gonna lie. Fuck. My bad. I got distracted. See what I'm saying? Like, my bad, bro. Let me lock in. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you can end up not being aware that you're not doing what you're supposed to do for days straight because you didn't, realize that you were in a funk. Some people don't realize it until it's too late. If you have the time to point it out, that's already a skill in itself that a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people don't realize how much skill it takes to be able to point these things out, to be able to take recognition and just saying like, damn, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or being able to realize that, you know, they could be doing better than they're doing. That's the step one into being a better person, you know, being a greater soul and cleansing your spirit, is one, to recognize it. You have to be able to recognize it and acknowledge that, you know, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, or you're feeling the way you're feeling, you know. That's a compliment in itself. If you're able to point those things out, that's good, because a lot of people can't even point it out. They just let it go, you know what I mean? They just let it go and keep going on with it. They just like literally blow with the wind. Like me, I always say like, yeah, blow with the wind, but at some point you got to take control and steer the way you want to steer. Some people, you know, they just let life do whatever life wants. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you let it, it will. If you let life treat you however it wants to treat you, it'll treat you. And that's good or bad, depending on however much, you know what I'm saying, however much you care. Because no one really gives a fuck. No, people can, not saying people, but life itself could give a fuck less if you were mad or sad or happy or glad. You know what I mean? Like, it could give a fuck less about how you feel. Only you know how you feel. Only you can control how you feel. It can control how your day goes, especially if you have control over. Some people, they don't have control over anything, you know. It's held against their will, and, you know, blase. I can't really get too deep into that, but some people don't have control over their day because they're that much in a hole, you know what I mean, that they have to blow with the wind. They have to pray on a miracle. But if you have the lineage, if you have the freedom to at least think freely and to have the creative space to do what you want, man, take that advantage, man. Take those signs, take that creative space to create the life you want. You know what I mean? Because not everyone has that opportunity, and it's a blessing to have that opportunity. If you have the creative space to think freely and do freely and practice your free will, that's such a blessing in itself. It's such an opportunity in itself, because, man, some people would kill to have that opportunity, to be able to actually practice their free will. Yeah, like, people like to talk about free will like it's just a thing that we all have, and we do all have it. But how much can you use it? You know what I'm saying? Like, how free is your free will? Some people's free will comes with a cost. It comes with a real cost. And some people's free will, that cost is their life itself. You know what I'm saying? And some people, they don't have that freedom to live their life how they want. You know, so if you, in a broader sense, I mean, you know, like, sometimes it's just, I don't know. I can't really explain it how I'm trying to explain it, but it's kind of like coins, like the currency of money, like penny. Like, okay, think of it like this. The soul, the human body, is like the penny. It's like 1 cent. That's you. 1 cent. Some people throughout their journey in life, they stay that 1 cent their entire life. You know what I mean? Like, they never get a chance to upgrade to the nickel, which might be like, the nickel might be, you know, getting a new job, or, you know, just accomplishing something, whatever. You know what I mean? Just like slowly branching off and like growing into a nickel. You know what I mean? And then some people just stay stuck at the nickel, you know, stay stuck working a 9 to 5, or, you know, being the bare minimum or whatever, you know. That's the nickel. And then you get to practice your free will and understand who you are and kind of venture off and do other things, learn your hobbies and skills and get better as a person. And eventually you become a dime, like literally a dime. It's crazy how I'm saying like, oh, you become a dime. Like that's a real thing. People call each other like, oh yeah, you know, she a dime, he a dime. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a dime piece right there. But like I'm talking about in a realistic sense. Like you upgrade from the nickel to the dime, and now you know you're a dime. You got some things going on for you. You know you got some steady income coming in. You know you got stuff happening, good things coming your way. You know what I mean? And it's like, do you want to stay at the dime? Do you want to stay there? Or do you want to keep elevating and evolving into a quarter now? You know what I mean? And a quarter, a lot of people don't even get a chance to see what that quarter feels like. You know what I mean? That quarter. Like, that quarter. A lot of shit come with that quarter. Just in the name itself, quarter. Like, it holds a lot of weight in itself, in that name, in that word, quarter. You know, and that's when you know that you're making progress in life. You know what I mean? When you've become a quarter. Then, you know, after the quarter, they got the $50 coin. You know, those are rare coins, the 50-cent coins. You know what I mean? Those are rare coins. Now you become a rarity, you know, in this life, in this game of life, in this matrix, this simulation. You become one of the rare ones. You know what I mean? One of the ones that found their talent, you know what I mean, or find their niche that they're good at, or found their craft that they've been working on. You know, you've starting to master your craft now, and you become that half quarter, you know what I'm saying, that 50-cent coin. Then God willingly, you know, with all your pain and suffering and your hard work is finally paying off, you become a dollar. You know what I mean? You become a dollar bill now. You become paper now. You know what I'm saying? You become more valuable to the human eye, even though none of this shit matters. None of this, you know, shit matters. Like, but in a broader sense, in a spiritual sense, you become more valuable to others and yourself and the people around you as a dollar. You know, you're able now to buy more things now. You're able to inspire more now, you know, since you've become a dollar. You know what I mean? And it's just so on and so forth, you know? You go from a penny, now you're a dollar. Now you can offer more to people. You can do more. You can teach others. You can buy things now. And then you keep adding on that same due diligence you've been doing, that same work ethic, and staying down and staying true and real. You can upgrade to the $2 bill. You know what I mean? Like the $2, and the $2 bill is rare. You know what I'm saying? The $2 bill is real rare. And it's not many of them out there. So if you can upgrade to the $2 bill, that's fine. And it's just so on and so forth. The $5 bill, $10 bill, 20, 50, and then, you know, you can get to a blue. You get to that $100 bill if you really been out here grinding. So, yeah. Try to get to that point if you can.